Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
Let me just turn that one off. All right. So, hi everyone. It's Lynn from Mosme and the Conscious Beauty Collective, and super happy to be here today with Carol. She is the founder of Envio Skincare, a really beautiful line of products that are going to help your acne and your breakouts and have your skin looking amazing. I got to tell you, when I was younger, I really needed your product. But anyway, welcome.
Thank you. Yes, great to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to just dive in and talk a little bit more about it because I love that you've tapped into this new trend, which isn't really a new trend, it just has a name, psychodermatology. Uh,
Yes.
but the reality is, I think we've known for years that our skin and our emotional state are super connected. And as I mentioned, I used to break out like crazy.
Hmm.
Um, and then, of course, your hormones play a big part in that too.
Right.
So let's just go back a little bit because this isn't your primary job. You're a doctor, correct?
A psychologist. So I
Okay.
have a private practice on the side called Wellness with Carol. Yes. But honestly, when I was starting that, we were also Envio was that company was in its infancy at around the same time as Envio.
Hmm.
I was finishing up graduate school in psychology when we started at Envio back in 2019. So we officially launched in 2021 after a couple years of COVID delays, manufacturing issues, supply chain, like everybody encountered. But yes, my passion kind of originated in on the professional side with being interested in psychology and therapy and my mom is my co-founder, and her background was in dermatology and pharmaceuticals. So we kind of joined our heads together and
Perfect
thought,
match.
exactly, yes. I had dealt quite a bit with acne in my teenage years as well, and it really affected like my ability to socialize and be outgoing. And I think in the end, like probably had a degree of influence on my personality development as well. So I have lots of memories of, like running from sports practice into the bathroom to put powder on, or like leaving a test where I had been particularly stressed that like caused like increased oil production or sweat, and running to put makeup on after that too. And it was just definitely at the forefront of my kind of just like self-image during middle and high school. So I understood it on a personal level too. And then as I got older, I understood like what that really meant for my mental health and how I was showing up like socially, academically. And yeah, so we partnered with BetterHelp, which is our telehealth counseling provider. Um, they're the world's largest online counseling provider, and they provide counseling at no cost to our customers for the first month. So, um, yeah,
Awesome.
we're we're proud of NVO, and it's been a long road and figuring out like which products are most useful for our target demographic. We work primarily with teenagers and women who are dealing with like hormone issues in adulthood, like you mentioned. So it's been great, and we're learning all the time.
I love it. There's so many things to unpack. I mean, it's like, where do I even start? I think one of my questions, because I'm somebody who does multiple things and you know, I have Masmi and Ilda Nature and the Conscious Beauty Collective, and I sometimes have a hard time juggling or prioritizing. Now you have two big, like, it's not like one is small and the other one is, you know what I mean? So you've got two businesses that are both needing your time and attention. So how do you balance that? Or how do you prioritize which one to focus on when?
Yeah, so I'll say since starting my own practice, it's been a lot easier throughout my training. And like
Mm.
in the early days, I wasn't ready to be out on my own as a therapist. So I had, a typical 9 to 5 and like a pretty large caseload I was at a nonprofit, and that I think made it a lot harder to separate. I was, like falling behind on administrative stuff for my job and trying to keep up with, Envio at the same time. So now, being able to kind of tailor my schedule to not only my clients, but to my company has been really helpful. So Mondays are pretty much NVO day. I don't see clients until 5 or 6 o'clock. And then usually Fridays, Jan and I will have kind of a touch base meeting. So we have those like bookends of the week to really get a sense of where the company is, make sure I clear my inbox out. And as far as like fulfillment and supply chain, we just have also some really good partners who are experienced with, getting things out the door and on time. And Shopify has been our friend, helps with a lot of like
Yeah, I like
streamline.
Shopify. It's
Yeah. Like it just makes everything easy. And there's, I mean, so many apps and AI coming out all the time to help us, better understand the tech, since that's not really either of our strong suits. But it's challenging, but I think like having that weekly, like every week I know I have Monday to catch up and that Friday meeting to make sure I know what I'm working on that next Monday has been helpful.
those are good tips because I think sometimes people, I don't know, they have like there's a stigma around having structure.
Hmm.
You know, oh, that's Enzo. Um, you see the big boy in the back.
I do.
Um, yeah, sometimes people feel that there's a little bit like they don't want to have to structure their lives so much, but a little bit of structure and organization goes a long way, I think.
For
And just
sure.
being able to kind of manage your goals and manage your expectations and it definitely helps. And I actually think it's funny. It's one of the things like I've been working on with my daughter who's 21 is sort of what we call the executive functioning, right? Like she was just on me because I didn't wake her up early today and she's like, I want to be getting up earlier. And I'm like, okay, but like that makes a big difference, I think, in how you set your day, set your mood, how you
Hmm.
get things done. So that's really cool. Okay, but let's talk about like working with your mom.
Hmm.
Where do you guys, do you live close to each other?
We do now. When we started the company, I was in New York and she was in Naples, Florida. So that was a
Okay.
little bit challenging. But I mean, we really have always been a remote company. I was home for quite a bit during 2020, just because New York was not a great place to be
Mm.
during shelter in place, for me at least. But then since then, I moved to Miami, which so we're only about 2 hours apart now, and that it helps us meet in person a little bit more often. But all most of our staff and contractors are kind of all over, so we're well versed in Zoom culture and like
Yeah.
learn how to connect
And
virtually.
how has working together changed your relationship?
I think again, like it's motivated us to create more structure. Like at the beginning, we would find ourselves, during, holidays or like birthdays, spending all of our free time together talking about the company and ideas we had and issues we were having. And I think we've gotten better about setting boundaries when we know like it's our fun time together. We're trying to connect and have a like quality time. So boundaries and structure, if it's not on the calendar and it's not scheduled in, of course, unless there's, a crisis or something, we try to, keep work and family a little bit more separate.
Do your other family members give you shit when you guys are together and you're talking work?
So luckily we're a pretty small family. I'm an only child. So my partner sometimes kind of he like works with small businesses too all the time though, so he can like give some 2 cents, but sometimes he's like, okay, like we're
Enough.
all here together. Yeah.
Yeah, no, my kids definitely give me shit. My son used to say, do you have a clean beauty emergency? And I'm like, yeah, actually I do. As a matter of fact, I actually do.
Yeah, thanks for
Uh,
asking. Yeah.
But I actually think now, like he's 23 and is working and he lives in New York, he gets it a lot more,
Hmm.
which is it's nice because, when your kids start to kind of grow up and then you start to have a different relationship with them,
Hmm.
and it's really great. Like you're on a different level and you can be more friends. And
Hmm.
obviously there's more of a shared understanding of like, oh, so that's why you guys did that when we lived in New York, and
Hmm.
it's like, oh, okay, now
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Um, where at the time it was like, why aren't you at my Monday math mornings? And I'm like, because I have work. And then they'd be like, what? And now they're like, oh yeah, no, we wouldn't have gone to that either. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Have a bit more of an appreciation. And yeah, I really feel like you can't truly understand until you have something you're passionate about or a job that you want to get ahead in. So that's yeah,
yeah, no,
keep our
that's
relationship.
really cool. I love that you guys work together. It would be my dream to have my daughter work with me, but that's not going to happen, I don't think. She's not
Yeah.
interested. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, so okay, let's talk about your line and your products. Because you've got a couple different products. So what was the first one that you decided like, okay, this is a must-have, gotta launch whatever?
Yeah. I would say our treatment. So it's a salicylic acid 2% serum. It's all natural, organic, and it has like a nice scent to it. But I really wanted like something medical grade that was legit, that would, clear out someone's pores or a breakout, in as little as a day or two. And we tested quite a few. It was important to me that it smelled like kind of fun without, I mean,
Mhm.
obviously we couldn't have artificial fragrances or anything, but I, remembered well what it was like to be a teenage girl, like trying to get everything from Bath and Body Works and like wanting to go to school smelling good and putting like super like medically smelling like clinical products on was not like the top of my list. So
No.
that product I think really was we were like that if no one tries anything else, they'll be able to try this and understand what we're trying to do. It like smells like tea tree oil and it is really fresh and natural, but it's strong enough that like it really will do the job. So
That's a
that
hard balance to do on what you're describing because, a lot of clean ingredients don't have the efficacy. It's the trade-off. And then even the way things come together in the formula, sometimes things interact or so, and the smell, I love a good smell too.
Mhm.
So I love that you thought about that because,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah. And it's hard to like a lot of ingredients that are also really effective can like benzoyl peroxide takes color out of things. It bleaches your pillowcases. So to encourage people to like leave it on and go to bed and stop thinking about it or put it on in the morning, we knew it had to be clear and like for a night wouldn't stain. So yeah, lots of considerations for a leave on.
I wish this was like, man, I think of the products I used growing up, and your mom can probably relate. Clearasil, so
Yeah.
bad, right? Noxema. Oh my God. I actually worked on Noxema for a hot minute in the advertising world, and I couldn't believe how toxic it is.
Hmm.
So it's so great that now there's an alternative like yours that is gonna solve your problem, but not have all those toxic
Right.
ingredients.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
hard.
so you launched, so you wanted a treatment, but then you have a mask, which I think is interesting. How did
Yes.
that come about?
A clarifying clay mask. Well, we wanted some, again, like to combine that like clinical medical grade brand, but with some self-care and fun, because the, the mission of our brand is to create like be emotionally understanding and like validating of what it feels like to have all of the mental health aspects that come with a skin issue. So that's kind of where we came up with the idea of a self-care duo. So for those people who maybe have already, been prescribed a full regimen by their dermatologist, or, you know, are on antibiotics for acne and don't want to add anything else that's medical grade to their routine, we have the clarifying clay mask and then a gel hydrator. And both are still medical grade, super clean, but they don't have those like OTC ingredients. So, like
Mm.
ingredients that used to be prescription. They're, all natural ingredients, just um, acne friendly still. So the clarifying clay mask can really clear out all your pores. That bentonite clay is really good for just expunging any bacteria or dry skin from the pores. And then the gel hydrator, it's super moisturizing, so great to use no matter, what type of skin you have. And it has a green tint. So if you're red from the sun or just other
Mm.
products that can be irritating, which it's sometimes hard to strike a balance between like clearing your breakouts without drying your skin out or causing irritation. So
Yeah.
we needed a moisturizer that would actually help with that, but also not clog the pores and leave you feeling oily. Because I knew also that like when I had bad acne and oily skin in middle school, my mom told me every day to moisturize, and it was too counterintuitive. I couldn't like physically put moisturizer on because I was like, this is making me greasier and it's making it worse. And I want to be matte and like clean and clear. So the gel formula helps with that. It's not as thick or like greasy.
Yeah. Interesting. So, a lot of interesting insights into how you created it. Um, I want to go back to something you said earlier, though, which I think is really, really interesting. The idea that your skin played a part in shaping your personality to some degree. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think that's true. And I mean, I guess today with people being so exposed, right, on social and everything, it's good and bad. I mean, on one hand, you could just retouch your pictures if put a filter on, but then the reality of you're seeing people in person and this is what it is.
Right.
I don't know. It's almost like it's a stressful disconnect. And then it's just the stress of you not feeling like your best, right? It's,
Yeah. Yeah. And so much of how we define ourselves as especially teenagers is
mm,
through our peers. So
yeah,
until 12 or 13, if our parents think we're great, we think we're great. But after that, it doesn't really matter what they think or say. It's like, what is Stacy in math class saying? Or
mm,
what do I see that, is making the cool girl cool? And if I don't have that, if I don't have like the perfect clear skin that's never broken out, then, something's wrong. And maybe I shouldn't be as confident, or I shouldn't be as outgoing, or like the first person to raise my hand because you know, there's something that I have that's like making me stand out. And that's, the last thing you want when you're that age.
but it's just the thing to me that's sort of like ironic, I guess, is that like when you're a teenager, braces, glasses, act, I mean, it's multiple things, right? It's like
Yeah.
you're trying to,
Yeah.
and all the kids are like that. It's like you would think that would be more the norm. And the kids that are like perfect is not the norm because there's so few of them. But to your
True.
point, it seems like it's flipped and it's like, yeah, everyone wants to be like the perfect, you know, everything. And it's just, and I remember my daughter in middle school having like, there were a lot of mean girls.
Hmm.
And I feel like our culture in that sense has kind of gotten worse.
Mm.
That kids bully each other, like a lot.
Yeah. I think it's a lot easier to do online, and to
Yeah, and
even if
hide
they're not
behind it,
doing it
right?
anonymously, it's yeah,
Yeah.
easier to say
Ugh,
something via text than
awful.
in person.
Yeah, that's like, oh. Okay, so anyway, so you launched this beautiful line. Hopefully this helps teenagers not have to go through as much of a trauma of middle school. Um, but yeah, and then do you have other things in the hopper? Like what are you working on next?
Yeah, so we're working on two new products right now. Um, One of them is a glycolic acid, so a little bit of a variation on our treatment, a little bit more gentle. So for those people who don't just have mild acne or are like hoping for a treatment that doesn't necessarily just focus on breakouts, but also on aging, skin spots, and skin texture. So we've had quite a few requests from like our older users who are looking for kind of an anti-aging solution.
Hmm.
And then also another moisturizer. So a little bit on the thicker side for our clients who are kind of 20 years old and above, and the oiliness has calmed down, the hormones aren't
Mm.
going crazy, and sebum production is a little lower, and you're looking for like a heavier moisturizer, which is also really useful for this time of year. The gel hydrator in winter, you kind of have to reapply a lot to get the
Yeah.
result you're looking for.
Awesome. Well, that sounds really exciting. Well, I love what you've done. I mean, it's such an interesting brand, and I think your approach to sort of connecting this, emotional and the physical is also very interesting.
Thank you.
So hopefully people really it resonates, and I mean, I think it should, right?
Yeah.
So many people need that. And
Yeah.
I love that you're doing something for older skin too, because, you know, a lot of women that I know who've gone through menopause, and I have a little breakout here, you start to get that again. And it's
Hmm.
so annoying because you're like, wait, I thought that was way behind me. And now all of a sudden my skin is breaking out again.
Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah.
little,
No, there's really no age limit.
hmm. Yeah, it's like our hormones are just, yeah, they dictate way too much.
Hmm.
Well, this was great. Thank you for chatting. And I'd love to chat again when you have your new products. Maybe we'll do another one and then we
Yeah.
can share those out. But if anyone is interested in checking out Carol's skincare line, Envio, they can find you at
On Instagram at Envio Skin and on TikTok at Envio Skin. And then on our website is envioskin.com.
Perfect. I love it. Excellent. Well, thanks for chatting, and I hope to chat with you soon.